Greetings, people. This is Kish Yardi Views and Vlogs. And today, excuse my ruggedness, I gotta go shave up my beard and shape up my locks. It's overdue, but you know, remember to like, share, subscribe to the video, and remember to watch my videos. Give my videos 20 to 30-minute view because there's a lot of value that I drop and game that I kick that you and the world can benefit from. Remember to like, share my video, subscribe to my content. Get me out there because I believe what I have to offer can shift and balance back society, especially dating market, especially the interactions between men and women. Now, today's topic, I said to myself, if I had to talk to a college student about dating, mating, and sex, what would I say to them? How would I tell them to date? And without further ado, let's get into the presentation. The non sexual dating. When you're college age, you shouldn't even be thinking about sex like that. You're not built yet, you're still forming. Dating at this stage is not about ownership, entitlement, or sexual access. It's about learning how men and women relate without destroying each other, right? So if you look here, at this age, core of my message, at this age, dating doesn't equal sex. So you can date and not have sex, right? Dating is interaction, observation, and learning, not sexual bonding. You're courting, not locking each other down. You're learning how to relate, not claiming permanence, right? Men, lead based on your current structure, not fantasy masculinity. Masculinity, right? Basic provisioning, planning dates, paying when you can, intentional time, which means that you structure your dates. So, fellas, first of all, when you plan on a date, you're planning to go somewhere that you want to go to, a place that you like to go to, and the woman can either go with you there or not. Second, um, date according to how much money you make. You don't have to spend so much money. Remember, the woman when she's going on a date, she's getting to know you, not to, you know, just eat your food or you just spend money on her. She's there to get to know you. So if you just want to go on a walk in the park or go to the store and a bodega or something, which I've done, and buy a couple sandwiches or whatsoever, that's because I've done that. I've went to a bodega, me and the chick I was dating went to a bodega, ordered us a couple hero sandwiches, and I think I bought like ginger ale, and we just walked around the park. And yes, we smashed. Right? So I've done that. And then I've taken chicks on dates to Jubilees or Panda Express. I've done that too. Or just Starbucks. Right? The whole objective of the game is you date what you can afford. You date at your level. Right? So that's what I mean. Basically, that's what I mean right there, right? Um Walks, conversation, meals, presents. Not flexing resources you don't have. Women, court him through femininity, right? So I want women to court your men too, right? During the dating phase. Contribute or put some investment toward him, right? Court him through femininity, peace, cooperation, encouragement. Complement his leadership at his current level. You're not auditioning for wifehood yet. You're learning how to be with a man. Sex complicates everything too early. This is a conversation that the present day dating market doesn't want to acknowledge because the present day market benefits off of hookup culture and sex culture, spinning plates and the such, right? So if I'm telling you guys not to have sex, there's going to be somebody on the internet that's going to make a video against what I'm saying. Why? Because if enough of you, which is what they're doing, is they're dirty macking on my message, right? Because they don't want somebody like me influencing a lot of you people to be more monogamous. Because when you look at this framework I'm getting to y'all, it puts y'all into a more monogamous relationship type thing. And the present day dating market or the ecosystem of the dating market, it doesn't want that. It wants sexual economy. Right. So if I come out and I say sex complicates everything too early, especially in your 20s, and you're trying to start your life, you're on your own, you're paying rent and these things, and I can show you in game what's happening to both the men and the women. Men are becoming victims to women. Women are becoming victims to men. The only difference is that men are held accountable, more accountable for their actions. And then men are, even though I can acknowledge that men are becoming victims, society doesn't recognize it. So now what happens, even with me saying that, and somebody watches back this video, they're going to say I have no game because I'm telling you guys not to have sex so early. So when I drop this video and it goes viral, pay attention to who goes into my comment section, who makes responses to the video, and why they're making the response to the video. Right? It creates emotional debt before either of you has structure. It binds people who are still unstable and becoming. It turns exploration into obligation and resentment, right? Because now, you guys have sex, you catch an STD, or you get her pregnant. Now you're a 20-year-old boy in college having to now to manage yourself, manage your schoolwork, or manage your career, and now you have to manage a family now. Same goes for the women, right? Now you're tied to this guy out of kid. Instead of building your life up and building your career, you have to now be a mother. Right? And I get it, y'all gonna tell me condoms and birth control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But shit happens. And when you're not in a structured position for when the shit happens, shit happening can become chaotic. You can date multiple people, but keep it clean. Dating is discernment, not consumption. Sex turns leaning into damage. Sex turns learning into damage at this stage. This phase is about information, not possession. You're practicing roles, boundaries, communication, and leadership, not building families, trauma bonds, or sexual history, right? So anything with me telling women to not have a huge body count and me telling men to structure yourself before you have sex, it's going to upset the present dating market ecosystem because everybody's benefiting from hookup culture, and hookup culture has overshadowed the hookup culture economy, or the hookup culture ecosystem has overshadowed the regular monogamous ecosystem. So anything they're telling anything that's telling women not to have a huge body count, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to dirty Mac on me because why? It affects their sexual economy that they benefit from, right? College age dating framework, 18 to 24. Purpose, development, not attachment. Structure, courtship without sexual bonding. Male role, leader present, competence. What level your masculinity is at. That means, right? If you built up your masculine structure by 24 and you just found it, you just making your career in construction or trades, or you're in corporate America, or in your present day income is like 40K a year, 50K a year, then according to that structure, budget yourself according to that. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're a struggling college student, getting your good grades, you're still working towards something, then according to that. You can still be a competent masculine person and understand where you are in life and still date. Right? Provide within realistic means. Develop leadership habits and decision making. What I mean by that, right? A leadership habit is, look here, we're gonna go here for this date. Meet me here at this time. When the chick says, I don't want to do that there, I don't want to meet you there, your decision making says, well, she doesn't want to follow my lead, so I'm no longer going to deal with this person. Or another leadership tactic is when a woman calls you up late at night and tells you, yo, come pick me up to go buy something. What? Or she texts you, yo, come, I need this PC. I need somebody to buy something for my birthday. You're just dating. Your leadership skills should tell you, okay, you should say, we're at the dating stage. I'm not your boyfriend. You're not my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? You're not my wife. So, A, you haven't earned that part of my masculinity to gain calling me up late at night to talk about whatever. For me to buy you whatever. The time I give you is the time I give you. And you have to earn that stuff from me. right? Just like you got to earn her submission and her sex from her, she got to earn and compete for you. So that's what I mean by leadership. It's being able to manage yourself and manage the situation, and you have standards about yourself, and you're able to recognize when the other person is playing games with you. You're able to recognize, especially in the dating market, when this woman is a gold digger, this woman is wasting my time. Look how this woman is responding to me based upon her response to you. You have to lead with saying, "Okay, cool. She's not in compliance with me. She's not she's not following my lead. She's trying to extract stuff from me without earning those things from me." Right? Female role. So that's developing leadership habits and making this proper decisions, right? Female role. Complement submission with femininity, right? Support, inspire, absorb male growth. Practice relational wisdom and discernment. What do I mean by that, right? So I think I'm going to break it down as I go on in here from the female role, right? For the female role, right? You're competing with your femininity, and you have to submit to that guy, right? So if he's taking you somewhere, and this is a guy you like, and he's taking you on a walk in the park, or something I used to do, go to a bodega and order some sandwiches or whatever, you submit to that, and you observe the guy, how he leads and how he structures himself and how he structures you, how he structures that date and that time. You know, how do I mean by structure it? Like, does he tell you, we going here at this time, and he shows up on time, which you did, and then he orders that, he pays for it, whatsoever, and then how do you contribute to that situation? You know what I'm saying? Do you pay for something too? Do you say, "Yo, I like this right here. I'm gonna buy this for you because I like you for you to try it. Try this food item right here, or something." You know what I'm saying? What do you contribute to him? How do you support that situation? How do you support a guy going to a bodega, and with your femininity going to a bodega to buy you something? I've had women do that for me. I have had women buy me Metro cards before. Bought me a Metro card. I've had women I had a chick buy me work boots because I'm always working, always doing some kind of construction or something. So I've had women do that for me already, and it's because I was providing something for them. Whether it be taking them on a date or, just talking or whatsoever. These was women that earned my leadership from me. These are women that I'm talking about. I was in my mid 20s, 25, 26, 27, 28. I'm now 33. I'm now 33. Right. So I learned a lot of these things because I practiced this framework myself. It's not a framework that I'm telling you how to do that I haven't done. I've done it. Right. So, and this has worked out for me. All right. And then I've had to check and correct chicks too. I had to let chicks know, yo, that's not what I'm doing. If you plan on looking for a gold digger or you plan on looking for a guy you're going to waste time with, I'm not him. Go find somebody else. And there were women that left, that dismissed themselves. And there are women that respected it and stayed. You feel me? So, this does work, right? Especially in the dating and the vetting, because I think both women. So let me talk for the female role, right? Your job is to find a guy who you can submit to, and find a guy that you like and love that you submit to. But you got to know what you're submitting to first, right? You got to observe if this is a good dude, if this is a bad dude, if this is a gangster, if this is a bodman, if this is a broke nigga, if this is a pookie, if this is a Ray Ray. And you got to observe these things before you submit or give up sex like that. All right. So, I think this core message is for the good women, especially the good black women. Because I think the bad intentioned black women, they're not gonna follow this. But anyway. But for the female role, you have to have discernment with your submission. You understand? I think the thing is, like black culture tells women this, but they don't listen. I think with men, we haven't given, except for now. Shout out to the Angry Man. Shout out to the Manosphere. Shout out to Ali or Obsidian. There was never clear vetting manual or vetting thing for men. who's what, where, why, or a vetting standard, or something like I'm doing, right? Something like I'm doing. I don't see too many dudes in these spaces doing this right here and giving you a non-sexual way to do it. Something that I've tried myself, right? So, at least for the context of the men, because in the context of black men, we're just told to go out there and smash and not vet properly, and then when we smash and we smash the wrong, or it's just have dick discipline, or we were never taught to differentiate between the good woman, the 304, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was always leading from the position of a simp or you're kowtowing to that black woman. Because I guarantee you, nobody's telling you no, besides maybe Angry Man and Ali or Obsidian or maybe Anton Daniels, maybe Tommy. And myself, I don't think I've seen too many people give you something like this or what you see me give you in the past videos, right? Sex intentionally excluded. Outcome: emotional maturity, clear self-knowledge, reduced trauma and resentment, better long-term mate selection. Now, when I say trauma, this goes for both sides. Because for men, the trauma for us is now you have to step up in your young 20-year-old adolescent world to now go manage a family that you're not built or structured for yet. So that's the trauma for guys, right? We already know what the trauma is for women, so I don't have to explain that one. College age dating should function as a development and observational phase rather than a sexual bonded relationship model. By delaying sexual involvement, young men and women are better able to cultivate leadership, femininity, emotional regulation, discernment, and relational competence without the distortions caused by premature attachments, power imbalances, or emotional dependency. So, men have to learn how to lead or manage a woman, manage himself, create structure for himself, and a manage a woman, like how I've been telling you so far. And I've broken down how to manage women in a couple videos already. So subscribe to my channel to go find those videos, right? Without having sex, because especially for black men, we believe because we had sex with this woman, she's going to automatically respect us, like us, and validate us. You understand? But when we lead first before having sex, tell her what to do, correct her when she's being disrespectful, dismiss her if she keeps being disrespectful, or she has to qualify to gain your leadership. That's why we got to qualify to get her box or get her femininity or get her or her submission, right? This is the first time in black culture where women had to actually qualify for black men outside sex. And that's my whole point here. And I'm not doing this to shift black women. I'm doing this to help black men protect themselves first, number one. And yes, I'm doing this to help the black women who want to listen, who want to find a different dating alternative way outside the present day market, sexual market we're in, the sex economy we're in, right? And overall help good people find good people, good women to find good men, and good men to find good women. But I'm not trying to do this to shift the entire black culture or to shift the entire black women in general. This is only for those black women who want to do something different. And to be honest, why not? Why not try this, brothers? Why not try this? Because the way we doing it, the way we doing it, the sex first, the sex thing we doing it, it's not working, and it's causing a lot of problems. So why not try this? All right. It's not like I'm telling men to go be suckers. I'm telling the women you got to contribute to this to him too. And this non-sexual thing, you got to contribute to that man. This is now going to make the women tap into their highest feminine energy, tap into their more traditional energy, safe girl energy, wifely energy, girlfriend energy. You understand? So, what both lack at this stage? Stable identity, proven discipline, long-term consistency, emotional regulation under pressure, authority that comes from competence. And P.S. I'm not going to teach black men how to turn hoes into a housewife. I will not teach that. Sex magnifies flaws. And I thought about doing it. I thought about it. I said, what if the 304s were to compete? And you know what? I might do it, but it's going to be a different way how I do it. It's going to be a different way I do it. It's going to be a different way I do it. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it, but how I do it or how I present it, y'all going to say, oh, shit. But yeah, I have to think about that some more. Sex magnifies flaws instead of revealing them slowly. At this stage, sex rewards dysfunction instead of correcting it. So that's what tends to happen within Black culture, especially in the college campus. There's a lot of dysfunction going on. And, when you don't know the dysfunctions of certain people and you go have sex with them, that's validating their dysfunction, and they're not going to stop being dysfunctional. So you want to correct those dysfunctions before having sex or get yourself away from that dysfunction. For Black women, you get away from that dysfunction. For Black men, you get away from that dysfunction too. Or you can correct it, check it, but if there's no changes from it, you get away from that dysfunction, right? So that's Black men from the leadership standpoint. The man's side, leadership without sex. What young men lack and why sex hurt them. You don't know who you are. You don't know yet. You do not yet know your standards. You do not yet know how to lead women. You do not yet know how to correct disrespect. You do not yet know how to walk away. Sex too early teaches you to tolerate disrespect for access, to confuse attraction with compatibility, to reward bad behavior, to fear loss of women instead of losing standards, right? I fear disrespecting my own standards or not following my own code versus losing out on some box. I get a high or kick standing on my standards of my code. Look a woman dead in her face, tell her get out my face, or tell her no, I'm not doing that. And then she walk away and I'm not giving you no box. And so you're not following my instructions. You don't respect me. Get out. Go away. Dismiss yourself. So I fear not being myself and not standing on who I am and what I believe in. That's what I fear. More over losing box or really truly losing out on any opportunity in the world. All right, so let's get it. What young men should be learning before sex: the art of approach, how to approach women confidently, how to speak clearly without seeking approval, how to accept rejection without resentment, how to read interest versus disinterest. This is a very important part of approaching. The art of dating, how to plan dates, how to leave conversations, how to observe behavior, how to disengage cleanly or sternly, right? Self-respect and boundaries. What behavior you will not tolerate, how you feel when you're disrespected, how to correct. Sternly. I got to replace calmly with sternly. How to walk away without emotion, right? So I got to correct sternly. And you can have emotion and you can even express those emotions as a male or man, but you don't let those emotions go overboard. You can express anger in a controlled way. You can express sadness in a controlled way. You can express your dislike for a situation in a calm, stern, controlled way, right? And you can correct them sternly. You feel me? Like I have a loud voice. So any correcting I'm going to do and the chick, they're going to understand it. The business analogy. A man is a microcosm of a company. Dating teaches him what makes someone an effective employee, what disrupts morale, what disrespects leadership, when correction is needed, when termination is necessary. We got to fire an employee, right? If you introduce sex too early, you keep disruptive employees, you reward insubordination, you blur professionalism with pleasure. Sex makes it harder to fire someone who is bad for business. Bad for your business, right? Masculine development rule. Be who you are today, lead honestly from your current level, and always improve your level continuously. Work toward becoming a better man tomorrow, right? So even if at your current level of masculinity, you can always improve and become better. And there's always levels to gain, always levels to achieve, always ceilings that you hit that you got to overcome, right? So, be confident in that. Never pretend to be a man you are not yet. The women's side, submission without sex. What young women lack and why sex hurts them. Clear discernment of men, emotional self-control with intimacy, ability to follow without trying to control, respect for masculine identity differences. It's because there's different identities of men, different sovereign individuals, sovereign identities, sovereign masculinities of men, right? Different. Each man has a different ideology, a different code of how he operates, what standards he have, and women have to learn how to respect that. Right? That doesn't mean she has to submit to it or follow it. She can respectfully not follow that person, but she's not there to disrespect him. So I'm gonna get into it, right? Sex too early teaches women sex too early teaches women try to change a man instead of choosing correctly, to stay where they don't belong, to disrupt leadership they don't respect, to confuse attention with alignment, right? What young women should be learning before sex, how to discern men, who she likes, who she doesn't like, who she can follow, who she cannot respect, how to follow, not control. Submission is alignment, not manipulation. Respect means accepting who a man is, not reshaping him into what she wants. If she dislikes his tone, his personality, his beliefs, his lifestyle, she should leave, not try to fix him or change him, right? So, what I was trying to say earlier, right? You're gonna have different personalities, different tones, different beliefs, different lifestyles of men. That's what his identity is. That's who he is as a sovereign individual, right? A sovereign individual with his own identity and his own way of shaping his masculinity according to his perception of himself. So you women, you have to know what perception you're willing to submit to and what you're not willing to submit to. But once you submit to that perception of that man, you have two choices: submit and follow his perception, or leave him alone. But once you submit, you gotta follow his own perception. And fellas, if she submits to your perception for 6 months, and then she decides I don't want to submit here no more, that's her. Let her do that. Now I can't speak for marriage, and I don't want to speak on marriage because that's a bit more complicated, and I've never been married, and I don't know, because a lot of times with marriage is a lot of time investment and children invested. So I don't want to speak on what men should do to do in that part, in that ball game or field. But when it comes to dating, right, for fellas, right, you know, um, when she no longer wants to submit to you, that's okay, right? And the best part, what you don't want to do, is that you don't want to have children from that situation. You That's why I'm telling you not to have sex yet, right? Um, so now, when she no longer wants to submit to you, you just walk away and move around, and you didn't do anything that's going to be permanent that you have to live with. You understand? So if she doesn't want to submit or lie to you anymore within the 6 months, within a year, even after y'all became girlfriend and boyfriend, right? That's cool. There's always going to be women out there that want to submit to you or align with you, right? And women, stop submitting to guys you don't like or don't respect. Which the reason why there are women who do that, because they're running game. Key feminine rule: you do not follow what you do not like, because women naturally attempt to modify, correct, civilize, or reshape. This creates resentment, not harmony, right? And women tend to not like the guy they had to correct, modify, or civilize, which is funny, or reshape. And the men don't like them either for doing that, because he gonna take it as you try to shift me how you want me to be. You didn't like me for who I was, so you try to change me into what you want me to be. Why sex must be excluded? Sex bonds her emotionally to men. So now, for the women out there, right? I told you there's two dating ecosystems. Let me go into that right quick. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. No, that's not it. This is not it. Move from studio. There are two dating ecosystems. No, that's not it either. Let me find it. Give me 1 second. No, that's not it either. I gotta find it. Give me 1 second. The right way. Is this it? No. All right, so I gotta go find it, because there are two dating ecosystems. I want to show this for the women and the men. Hold on. Let me go into my slides right quick. Slide into my slides real quick. You know what I'm saying? Um, because there's two dating ecosystems, right? And I did a video on this already. I think it's this one. By the way, I have a bunch of PDFs. I think it's this one. And when I show y'all the dating ecosystem that I'm talking about, y'all gonna be like, "Oh shit, why is Google Slides not working, bro?" Oh, here it is. It's working. Okay, it was in this one. It was in this one. All right. It was in this one. So let me add this in here. So I did a whole video on this. Uh, uh, uh. Is it in this one? Is it this one? No, I don't think it's this one. Yes, it's this one. This one. My fault. My fault. No, is it? Oh shit. No, I don't think it's this one. I did a video on this one already. Is it this? Hold on. Give me a second. I have to find it. Give me a second. Eco. It was in there. Hold on. Touch. Eco. Forgive me. I have to go find it. Have to find it now. Eco. Like you gotta understand. I make a bunch of stuff that I have to present. So forgive me. But there's two dating ecosystems, right? There is the hookup culture ecosystem, and then there's a traditional dating ecosystem. And the hookup culture ecosystem, they overshadowed or now overlapped or merged with the traditional ecosystem dating style. So the people that's going to get upset with me with this video, ladies and gents, is the guys and the women that are coming from that ecosystem. I wish I could find the damn slide. Um, Control F, eco. Eco. I think this is it. Okay, okay. Now I know where it's at. I know where it's at now. It's actually in this one. It's in this one. Is it this? All right. So this is what's happening. There are two different relationship ecosystems being discussed online, but people argue as if there's only one. So this is what they are. Ecosystem A, rotation, non-exclusive, short term. Spinning plates, emotional investment, non-investment, sexual variety, minimal vulnerability, woman is interchangeable, men stays guarded at all times. This ecosystem requires women who are emotionally non-exclusive, validation seeking, comfortable with competition, not deeply bonded, low emotional cost to disengage, a safe place women a safe place energy woman does not function well here, right? Now, this marketplace right here, this economy, ecosystem, it merged itself and consumed ecosystem B, bonded long-term monogamous, emotional continuity, trust, nervous system regulation, role differentiation, mutual investment. This ecosystem requires women who are emotionally selective, consistent, discreet, bonded orientated, willing to prioritize one man's inner world. A rotation woman cannot sustain this role. So this is why you cannot wife up a 304 from here. That's the reason why. Right? So already my instinct is right. These are two different games with different rules and different player types, right? So what's happening if I bring up this, why women in college shouldn't have sex? Because ecosystem A dominates the dating market. It's polluted ecosystem B. And the men, especially the guys, because the men who's going to contend with me on this are going to be the guys, why are you trying to lock a woman down and you're insecure because you won't deal with a woman's past? What they mean when they say that is that they want you to keep dating the 304s. Because if you're dating the 304s traditionally, those 304s can now play between those both worlds. They can deal with the player niggas sexually, but don't have to deal with the traditional guys sexually. So that's the game they're playing. So now, if the traditional guy does not date these type of women, those type of women cannot play that game, and they have to request provisioning from the players that they're sleeping with, short termly. So those of you who already know the game, you know how that game goes. That rotation game goes, right? A guy, he just be the dick nigga, and then the chick she has a rotation too. She got the food nigga, the sneaky link nigga, the nigga that's gonna talk to her up early on in the morning, 3 a.m. Right? So the player nigga who's just a D nigga, he benefits from guys who are traditional and date the who courts the 304s. And because he can't tell, because shout out to philosophical, you can't tell who's who right now because this ecosystem has merged with this ecosystem. And I have sneaking suspicion that that was a Marxist tactic, but that's another video, right? So anytime I tell women you don't have to have sex with a guy, and now I'm telling men you don't have to have sex. You can do everything in dating, court each other, be mutual to each other. Because remember, I said the ecosystem B is a mutual investment. See what I'm saying? This is why guys from ecosystem A are telling men you're beta because you don't want a woman to date multiple guys outside of you, right? Or they tell you you're insecure. Well, you're not from ecosystem A, so you're not supposed to date like you're from ecosystem A. You're supposed to date like you're from ecosystem B. So you're not supposed to be secure with women from ecosystem A. You're supposed to be insecure about them. Why? Because you don't know how to manage these women from here. Because you're from ecosystem B. And guess what? The guy from ecosystem A, he's not insecure with that, with over here, because what? That's his ecosystem. He's secure with getting that. You know where the guy and the gals, from, or especially the men from ecosystem A, are insecure? When they start telling the men from ecosystem B they're insecure because ecosystem B men don't want to live or date the women from their ecosystem. That's when they become insecure. But if you're a player, Mac, or pimp, and you're watching this, I don't knock you for being in your lane. I fucking despise you when you tell niggas from ecosystem B we insecure because we don't want to date the women that you fucked around and fucked up and trashed around. You can wife those women up. Stop telling us to wife up the women you don't want. You fucked around with and want us to take up your bullshit. That's my issue with players and pimps. Anyway. So let's continue. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. Neutral rules, non-sexual dating. Date multiple people, observe behavior, learn yourself, learn the opposite sex, no exclusivity without clarity, no sex without structure. Dating is education, not possession. So now, because the data markets have merged, the ecosystem has merged, you have to date multiple people because you have to learn who are the niggas that's on the game. So this is for both guys and the girls, right? From the men, because we were really never taught this in depth. You got to learn who the gold diggers are. You got to learn who are the vampire bitches are, the leech bitches are. You have to learn these different type of bad women that seek to siphon value, or the women that come from ecosystem A, different from the people that come from ecosystem B. So you got to learn to differentiate those two before you start having sex, and how to properly manage, dismiss them, correct them, check them, or fire them from your presence. They're like Donald Trump, you're fired, you got to fire them from your presence. Right? So you got to learn that from that as a guy. For the women, you have to, like, for some other reason, y'all get the game earlier, but y'all don't listen. So I got to tell you, for the women, you also too got to learn the difference. Because there are guys who are not players, max, or pimps that are very sexually attractive, or that you find very sexually attractive. Pause. Right? And he could be a player, or he could be a regular average Joe. But you got to learn to differentiate between the two, right? And and guess what? You're not supposed to try to change how a man dates. If he's dating multiple people, that's how he date, or multiple women, that's how he date. You feel me? And guess what? The average, everyday, traditional guy, even though I made a distinction between ecosystem B and A, he has to date multiple women because there are so many bad, polluted women out here that until he finds a good woman, he has to learn. But I'm telling him not to have sex with any of them yet. To get at least from ages of 18 to 24, gain a good knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the dating market for the men and the women before y'all start having sex with each other. So now you have the information to move. You have the information to navigate. You're not just like a derelict ship out there that's navigating the waters. You know what to do. You know when the high tide is there. You know when low tide is there. You know what the best fishing spots are at. You know what I'm saying? So you guys want to learn that. So for the guys, the women have to do that too, right? Because because women, they gotta know who's who, because they don't know who's who. Honestly, now there's women on the internet that do know who's who, but I'm speaking to the average everyday woman, especially in their college age. They don't know who's who. They don't know who's a liar. They don't know who's a bum. They don't know who's broke. They don't know who's honest. They don't know who's a player, who's a Mac, who's a pimp. She don't know. So she gotta date multiple people, but she doesn't have to have sex with them. She can date. So the same rules goes for her, right? Date from 18 to 24, right? Date, learn, and observe before you have sex. So you have this. So now when the men know stuff and the women know stuff, and now you finally get together and you meet each other, and when you start having sex, it's from a structured, balanced point of view, instead of you having sex and you not know. And now you're having sex with somebody that's bad for you, or you know what I'm saying? College-age dating should function as a non-sexual leadership and submission training phase, allowing men to develop identity standards and authority, while allowing women to develop discernment, respect, and alignment. Delaying sex prevents premature bonding that distorts learning, rewards dysfunction, and undermines future relational stability. Age guidelines, sex and self-mastery. So this is in the event when y'all do have sex, right? I have to put it there because human beings and y'all gonna happen, right? You're going especially if you're a girl and you with a guy that you really like, you're gonna want to give him that kitty cat, and you're gonna fold before he folds, especially if it's a guy you like. Ideal age: abstain from sex until 28. Realistic age if following the framework 25. By this point, men should know their identity, standards, and leadership style. Women should know their preferences, boundaries, and what type of men they can follow. Anyone following this framework should not need sex to validate themselves. They are already disciplined and self-aware, right? Especially for men, especially for black men, right? College age dating framework, 18 to 24. Primary goal, development and learning, not sexual bonding. For men, learning to approach women confidently, date multiple women to understand preferences. So that means what he likes and what he don't like from the women, right? Leadership without sex, guiding instructions respectfully, right? So, yeah, so you're giving instructions to that woman, and you're setting boundaries for yourself, and you're correcting her disrespect from a stern masculine way. Not a weak masculine way, not a simp masculine way, a stern, strong way, right? And then you have to understand yourself as a microcosm of a company. Who contributes positively, who disrupts, how to enforce standards. Continuous improvement, be who you are now, but walk toward becoming a better man tomorrow, right? For women, learn to discern men without sexual influence, understand who she likes and can genuinely follow, practice submission and respect toward men she aligns with, right? Post, right? Approaching sex, 25 to 28. By 25, individuals should fully understand themselves and their boundaries, have experience with multiple dating dynamics, know what they like and don't like in a partner, have mastered leadership, men, or fellowship, women, in dating. Sex now becomes optional, not necessary for validation. Sexual relationships occur after identity, standards, and leadership, fellowship, skills are solid, right? College age dating is a development phase. Delaying sex until mid to late 20s allows men and women to cultivate identity, leadership, and fellowship, self-respect, and relational discernment. Premature sexual bonding disrupts learning, rewards dysfunction, and interferes with long-term relational stability, right? Sexual guidelines if you choose to have sex, right? Sex is optional, high stakes, and should be approached with accountability, preparation, and mutual respect. Let's go. Pre-sex responsibilities for men. Have a structure and a plan. Decide how to approach protection, testing, and boundaries. Be able to communicate your plan clearly. Protection and testing. Discuss and agree on protection, condoms, birth control, etc. Both get tested at the same quality clinic or testing site. The woman's willingness to comply is a vetting mechanism for accountability. So if you tell her this plan and she doesn't want to follow you, dismiss her. That should let you know she's not the person for you. She doesn't want to follow this thing, or she's not mature enough to follow this thing. And why you as a man, or she lacks emotional intelligence enough to know why you as a man want to keep yourself safe or protect yourself in the dating world. She can't understand that. She's not mature enough yet, and she didn't do the process to develop a structure and identity for herself. Right? Leadership and sexual conduct. Only have sex with women who respect you, follow instructions, and align with your standards. Ensure sexual activity is not casual or promiscuous. Maintain your boundaries and walk away if your standards are violated. I wish most black men were taught this in the 80s and 90s. Pre-sex responsibilities for women. Accountability. Follows his instructions regarding protection, testing, and safety. Respect boundaries and rules he sets regarding sexual engagement. Selective submission. Only engage sexually with men who she generally likes and can respect. Align with men whose leadership and identity she can follow. Avoid sexual activity with multiple men after committing, right? And I'm going to go into that. Now, women, if the guy does not have any structured plan to protection and testing, he's not talking about condoms and safe sex or any of that. He's not giving you this plan. Don't have sex with him. As a matter of fact, stop talking to him. Relationship time limits if sex occurs. Dating first. You know why I have no problem with this? Because I've done this in my real life. So I don't have this is the shit I do. This framework I present to you. I've done it. So I have no issue with safe sex and letting a woman know this is my plan. Anyway, dating first. Minimum 6 months of dating before sex. Ensure emotional and relationship alignment. Exclusivity post-sex. Sex should be limited to the committed relationship. Avoid casual, promiscuous sexual activity. Long-term structure. Date for at least 1 year before considering sexual activity with others. Post-year review. Decide if the relationship continues or sexually exclusivity change. Now, this puts y'all back into monogamy, into dating ecosystem B, right? So this right here, what I said, it puts you into dating ecosystem B. And I guarantee you, the ones who are going to get triggered by what I said are going to come from ecosystem A. Watch. Core principles. Sex is earned, not casual. It should occur within a framework of respect, accountability, and alignment. Both parties should demonstrate discipline, responsibility, and adherence to agreed standards. Sex should not be casual or rushed. Plan first, protection, testing, communication. Men, lead, maintain standards, only engage with respectful women. Women, follow, respect, submit only to men she aligns with. Minimum dating period, 6 months before sex. Exclusivity after sex. Remain with one partner, no multiple sexual partners. Long-term dating guidance, 1 year relationship minimum before considering new sexual partners, right? Sex within young adult relationships should be structured, accountable, and delayed until mutual respect. Alignment and personal accountability are established by enforcing minimum dating periods, shared testing, protection measures, and relational exclusivity. Couples minimizing emotional harm, reduce health risk, and reinforce personal discipline, self-respect, and relational maturity. Sex is a reward for alignment and responsibility, not a tool for pleasure or casual validation. Sex as a structured reward post 6 month period. Sexual intimacy should be occasional, structured, and aligned with relational development, not impulsive or all-consuming. So now I'm telling you the structure behind it, right? Maintain pre-sex structure. Continue all dating activities, meals, conversation, walks, shared experiences. Sex does not replace relationship effort. It complements it. Frequency guide. Sex should not be daily. Recommend 1 to 2 times per week, ideally on weekends. Treat sex as a planned, rewarding activity, not a habit or automatic entitlement. Focus on life goals. For women, career, college, personal growth should remain top priority. For men, self-development, work, career, and leadership skills remain top priority. Sex is secondary to life structure, not primary. Reinforcing relationship alignment. Continue dating activities alongside sexual activity. Maintain mutual contributions, effort, attention, respect, and shared experiences. 1 year relationship minimum. After entering a sexual relationship post 6 months, minimum dating period of 1 year before considering new sexual partners. Ensures monogamy is reinforced if the match is right. Prevents impulsive or casual promiscuity. Provides testing period for compatibility, emotional maturity, and alignment. Summary. Sex is a reward, not a primary goal. Maintain dating structure, conversation, shared activities, respect. Recommend frequency, 1 to 2 times per week. Sex occurs alongside life goals, never replace them. 1 year minimum, dating commitment before considering new partners. Sex is part of relationship alignment, not casual pleasure. Objective thesis. Sexual activity in young adult relationships should be structured, moderate, integrated into a broader framework of dating, personal development, and relational alignment by limiting frequency, maintaining dating rituals, and prioritizing life goals. Sexual intimacy becomes a reward experience rather than an impulsive habit, ensuring emotional stability, compatibility testing, and reinforcement of long-term relationship discipline, right? Post-sex accountability framework. Sexual intimacy should never replace discipline, structure, or personal responsibility. If either partner loses focus, respect, or standards, the relationship should end. All right. For men, maintain leadership discipline. Continue to lead based on structure, values, and personal growth. Avoid complacency or indulgence after sexual activity. Responding to disrespect. If a woman becomes disrespectful or attempts to manipulate, walk away. Stop sexual engagement. Break up if necessary. Protective personal standards. Do not reward women who fail to respect boundaries. Ensure sex does not undermine your leadership, self-respect, or life goals. So that's like, you trying to work 5 years to make $5 million, and the bitch come up and nowhere to talk about marry me now as an ultimatum. Right. For women, maintain respect, alignment, continue to follow, respect, and support the man she's committed to. Avoid behavior that undermines his authority or relationship structure. Responding to lost discipline. If the man loses his discipline, focused leadership, walk away. Stop sexual engagement. Exit the relationship if necessary. Protect personal standards. Do not remain in a relationship with a man who fails to provide structure, right? So, women, you gotta protect yourself, bro. If he's not providing you structure, you know what I'm saying? Leave and then reset. Don't have sex again until next year. Or don't enter the dating market till you reset yourself. You feel me? But now I have to say this, and I'm gonna make for the ladies. Not every man is perfect, right? So I hope y'all understand that. There's gonna be good days and bad days for men. Just like for the men, there's gonna be good days and bad days for women. But men, we understand that from you. We have empathy with y'all from that. With that, right? But so long as he's consistent, you know, his structure is not always going to be perfect, but at least he's providing you a structure. There's going to be days where the structure is not perfect. There's going to be days where it is. But as long as he's consistent with his leadership, stick with him. Once he loses consistency, then you can leave him. Right? Mutual responsibility. Prioritize individual life goals, career education, personal development. Remain non-negotiable. Relationship should enhance, not replace personal growth. Right? Do not reward laziness. Partners must actively work in their life priorities. Sexual access and relationship benefits are earned through discipline and alignment, not entitlement. Break up when standards are violated. If either partner consistently fails to maintain structure, respect, or discipline, stop sexual activity. End the relationship, protect personal growth and boundaries. Right. Bullet point summary. Post-sex discipline is non-negotiable. Men maintain leadership structure and life goals. Exit if disrespected. Women maintain respect and alignment. Exit if man loses discipline or focus. Neutral. Do not reward laziness. Protect individual priorities. Break up if standards are violated. Sexual activity is contingent on discipline and alignment. Now, women, when you submit to that guy's boundaries and standards, his boundaries become your boundaries. I just want to say that. So you are compromising to his boundaries. But this is why I tell you to date first instead of having sex. So you can learn these things. You can learn what the different boundaries for men are, and you can learn if you want to submit to those boundaries or not. But once you submit to his boundaries and his world, you're compromising your boundaries to submit to his world. I gotta say that. Truth to y'all. Right? That's a fact. So this is why you have to know who you're submitting to. I know the good women are going to listen, especially the good, respectable black women. And when good people find each other, you don't have to come to the internet and say that. Just be quiet. Hide yourself. Be like ninjas. Like hide yourself. Because every time good black people, a black man who's a patriarch of his household and a woman submits to him, black culture and society tends to attack them. So sexual intimacy should never be allowed to undermine discipline, personal growth, or relational standards, right? Post-sex accountability requires both partners to maintain their life priorities, respect, and relational alignment. Failure by either party should uphold these standards, should trigger disengagement and termination of the relationship, ensuring that sex rewards responsibility, discipline, and mutual alignment, rather than laziness, disrespect, or entitlement. And with that being said, I am going to end it there. Now, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video, right, for more content like that. That was the non-sexual dating manual for college students. And to truth be told, anybody can do that dating manual. Adults in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, anybody can do that dating manual. It's just that specific to college students. If I was talking to a 20-year-old female or 20-year-old male or man, how should they date? That's what I would tell them based upon my experience and what I've done that has worked for me. Anyway, this is Kish Shirley, Views and Vlogs. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.